Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on our YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and this is the show where we sit around and talk about the things that we love, the things that bring us joy, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, and all sorts of good stuff. I'm joined in studio today by our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Normally, Robert Meyer Burnett would be joining us here on a Monday as well, but he is... I don't know. He says he's got a fever. I think he might have had a few too many after the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl.
His only prescription is more cowbell.
The only cure is more cowbell. I think he got a little happy with the Seattle Seahawks win there last night. A little quick story here. I'm not going to tell you the amount, but I told Jonathan. So you guys know I was convinced that Seattle was not just going to win the game, but win it very handily. It was going to be a one-sided game. So I put down a little wager that Seattle would win by at least 15 points. So you can imagine I got pretty good odds on that. So I only think they were 3.5-point favorites. So when New England got their final touchdown, it put them down by 14, and they were going to go for 2. And if they got the 2, then Seattle would have only been up by 14. Sorry, they got the touchdown. They were down by 16. They were going for 2. Yeah. If they got it, they only would have been down by 14, and I would have lost the bet.
Got a little tense in that fourth quarter.
We're sitting here in our living room last night, and I'm going, oh, God, no. And sure enough, they didn't get it. And I won pretty good last night as a result.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam Darnold. Anyway, guy, here's how today's show's going to go. First, we're going to talk about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of our show is the most important part. That's when we take your live comments and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, or question you'd like us to address, as long as we deem it something that's appropriate to be addressed in front of our whole audience kind of a question, go ahead and fire it into our super chats in the live chat, and then we'll get around to answering it, again, if it's appropriate to be addressed on our show, in the second part of the show. All right, guys. With that all down, let's get things started with this. You know, as we talk about the landscape of movies, TV, and streaming, it's become a very huge piece of the puzzle is sports and streaming. We've talked about that a lot. That's become like the holy grail, really, for a lot of the streaming platforms, and we've talked about some of the streaming numbers. Well, last night at the Super Bowl, they, of course, had this big halftime show with Bad Bunny. The way I was taught to pronounce it when I went to his concert in Las Vegas last year. And it set the all-time record for most views of a halftime show. CBS News wrote the following. Bad Bunny, born, and I know I'm going to butcher this, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio.
Not bad. Not bad.
I got close there. I got close. Is one of the most streamed artists on the planet, if the most streamed artist on the planet. Early figures show that it was the most watched halftime performance of all time with more than 135 million viewers. By the way, they've updated that now to 142 million viewers.
That's incredible.
During the performance, he gave a shout out to the countries across the Americas. In the one and only lines in English, he said, "God bless America." All right. I want to talk about this for a second. It's a little bit outside of the normal parameters of what we talk about here on my show, but the name of the show is the John Campea Show. I get to talk about what I want. I got to tell you this. I was watching this show last night, and let me back up to a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. Ann and I are in Las Vegas, and we decided we're going to go to a Bad Bunny concert because Ann loves Bad Bunny. I don't understand a thing Bad Bunny says because I'm I speak English, a little bit of French, a little bit of Italian, really not much Spanish whatsoever. I don't have the Spanish gene in me, if you will. But my wife really wanted to go see Bad Bunny. And I'm like, okay, we can go. And in Las Vegas, we go see this Bad Bunny concert. And I got to tell you guys, I remember talking about this after I saw it. I didn't understand a single word the entire night. Not a word. Not a single thing. God damn it, if my hips didn't start moving. There you go. Clip that out and make it a...
There you go.
If I didn't feel the energy in the building And I got to tell you, man, I came out and my wife is like, what did you think? And I'm like, listen, I don't know a single thing he said. But damn, if that kid doesn't put on a good show. If that kid doesn't put on a good show. And I was just enraptured by the music and the energy of it. And I had a blast. Not as much fun as I had at like the U2 concert the night before, but
Sure.
I had an absolute blast. So out comes Bad Bunny to do this thing last night. And something happened that I wasn't expecting. I got emotional. As a Canadian living in the United States, I got emotional. And I'll tell you why. And I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way. It's going to ruffle some feathers, but just hear me out. You know, Jonathan, it was the first time in a while as a Canadian living in the United States that I felt proud to be living in the United States. As I saw this celebration of this one part of the United States people celebrating and being celebrated. And you know, that part near the end when this huge procession of the people dancing and they're carrying all the flags with the United States flag at the front. And me and a lot of other Canadians seeing the Canadian flag going, doing our best Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. Hey,
there's the Canadian flag.
I can't do the whistle, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it either. There's a Canadian flag. And this celebration of it as he comes out with it and the celebration of the culture and how cool was it that they actually had a couple actually got married.
Yeah, I thought...
We're watching that and we're thinking, that actually looks real. Turns out it was real.
That was crazy.
That was and Bad Bunny signed their thing as their official witness. So between that and everybody partying and you got Mandalorian on the stoop and Sue Storm out there on the stoop dancing away to it too and going through the different progressions of celebrating this people and this culture that is part of the American experience. And I remember watching that and again, like I said, I know this will come across the wrong way, but take it for what it is. It was the first time in a very long time that I felt proud that I actually lived here. You know, a couple of Super Bowls ago, the Super Bowl halftime show celebrated the people, culture, and music of Los Angeles. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Dre and Snoop and Eminem. And
that was honestly, that was one of my favorites just because that was the era great. I was coming into my own and yeah.
Oh, great halftime show, man. That was a great halftime show. But it really was a celebration of the people and culture of Los Angeles. And the thing is, to celebrate Los Angeles is to celebrate America. Because Los Angeles and its people are part of the American experience. The people and culture of everybody who's born in Puerto Rico and are therefore American citizens is part of the American experience. And therefore, to celebrate Puerto Rico, to celebrate Los Angeles, to celebrate Dallas, to celebrate Atlanta, to celebrate Fort Worth, or to celebrate Miami, is to celebrate America. And I think there's a part of the cultural experience that has been lost in the recognition of the thing that makes America great is its diversity.
It's not a monolith.
It is what makes America great. That you have all the strengths and you have all the richness and you have all the quirks and you have all of that of not one, as you put it, Jonathan, monolithic pattern.
If you look at around the nations that are monolithic in their governance, in their restrictions, and they're not really the governments that are the most excelling in, the world economy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it opens up culturally,
and it opens it up to more better culture, in technological advances. You bringing in minds from all over. Yeah,
even just culturally, like what it adds to the tapestry of what it is to be America. It's the thing that has made countries like Canada and European countries and Asian countries and other countries around the world over the last number of decades look to America not just as an inspiration, but of hope and a sense too of what other nations can aspire to be. It is that diversity that has made America what it is and makes it, and really in many ways what has made it stand out so much. On the other side of the coin, they had this other broadcast that I have no problem with there being an alternative broadcast, right? Because like Bad Bunny's music isn't for everybody. What if you don't want to watch Bad Bunny? You want to watch something else? I have no problem with that. That is great. But the thing was, they set up this other halftime show in an undisclosed location in front of about 100 people that was literally set up as and advertised as a protest. And they called it the All-American. And it's like, you do know that Bad Bunny is a born American citizen, right? Yet you do know that, right? And, you know, it was set up as a protest because Bad Bunny wasn't American enough. He's not American enough. And I see some of these talking mouthpieces on my television and online talking about how, man, they couldn't even get an American to do the halftime show. Number one, he is American. Born American citizen, my friends. But you know what's funny? I don't remember those talking mouthpieces complaining when Shania Twain did the halftime show.
Yeah.
She's a good Canadian girl, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't remember those.
Here.
I don't remember those talking mouthpieces when The Who did it. I don't remember those talking mouthpieces complaining about don't even have an American when the Rolling Stones hosted it. I don't remember the talking mouthpieces complaining when Paul McCartney. I was like, what they really meant by American is white. They wanted the all white. And I'm sorry, but if a record-setting number of people in the United States of America, and if people from all over the world can watch what this great American sport of football put on last night as something anything less than inspiring and motivating and emotionally moving and truly telling the American story through it.
It was a really cool. It was a really cool like set piece.
Yeah, as a set piece, the choreography, the whole bit. But if you feel that in the midst of all that, you need to set up the protest thing and call it the All-American, I'm sorry, you don't love America. Because that was America on display last night. That was the best of America on display last night. That was the richness of America on display last night. The problem is not that you love America. The problem is you don't love America. You only love one certainly very finely defined portion of America. To love America is to love its richness. To love America is to love the family of America. To love America is to love and embrace and celebrate the diversity of America and all of these stories that make it up. And that's why I, as somebody who am not American, could live here last night, watch that show, and actually get emotional, and for the first time in a while, feel actually really proud that I lived here. And I just thought it was great, and I loved seeing the numbers and all that kind of stuff. It was motivating and moving, and I didn't understand a damn thing that gets said.
Yeah, but you
other than
the
God
story.
bless America at the end.
But you also understood the story that they were telling.
Oh yeah, you could feel it. You could feel the story and the celebration of the culture and the heritage and all that kind of stuff. A culture and heritage that is America. And I got to tell you what, It's been a while since something broadcast on American television moved me like that. And it did. And again, it made me proud to live here. And good job to everybody at the Super Bowl. Good job to Bad Bunny and the people who put that thing together. Lady Gaga doing her thing there too. It was great. And congratulations to the couple that got married. And seeing Pedro Pascal there.
I know, right?
Dancing around on the
I was
thing.
like, when I saw him, I'm like, geez, he's even cast in this?
Yeah,
he's
you
everywhere.
gotta put him in everything.
Yeah.
Like, damn it. But yeah, I had a great time watching it. And so there was that. Anyway, guys, getting off my soapbox here now. Question is for you. What did you think? I mean, last night, they say now 142 point something is now the adjusted number.
Jeez.
The highest thing, just beating out the one from last year, which was Kendrick Lamar last year, which was also a hell of a halftime show. Anyway, whatever you guys thought, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, of course, you'd be forgiven if you forgot every once in a while that there is this incredibly massive movie on its way called Spider-Man Brand New Day. The film's shot. It's coming out. What are we at now, Jonathan? Like 4 months?
Oh, this is, yeah.
Like if
It's
maybe
insane.
5 or 6 months. Anyway, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. But all the attention, all the light in the room has been sucked up by this giant black hole known as Avengers Doomsday. Totally understandable. But it's coming, and it's important, right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been a touch hit and miss ever since Endgame. I contend that it's kind of in its weakest state. Not that it's in a terrible state, but it's in its weakest state since the formation of the MCU. Mm-hmm. It's been very hit and miss since Endgame. Now, they've had a couple of solid films in a row. Again, Thunderbolts I thought was great. Fantastic Four I thought was pretty solid. So that's 2 pretty good ones in a row. You'd really like to go into Avengers Doomsday with 3. Well, the people who did not produce this Spider-Man movie, but are the ones distributing it, have been watching its being put together, and they're thrilled with the movie that Marvel has been producing. This comes to us from the folks over at CBR who wrote this. At least one studio executive is all in on what Spider-Man Brand New Day will bring to audiences. Sony Pictures boss Tom Rothman told Variety he won't disclose much, but what he can say is that filmmaker Destin Daniel Cretton, who of course just did Wonder Man and did the fantastic Shang-Chi movie, has delivered beyond expectations. What I want to know is, do you stand in line to get me in trouble, or does it come naturally? He joked before opening up a bit about the film. We haven't seen a cut yet, but I've seen all the dailies, and I think it's going to be one of the most surprising and terrific movies. As a movie, an incredible Spider-Man movie, and Destin has done a tremendous job.
That's great.
Now, it's important to understand, Sony didn't make this movie. It's not like this is Sony talking about the job they did making this movie.
Yeah.
He's talking about Kevin Feige and the guys over at Marvel and the job they have done in making it. And he's just sitting back there and he's watched all the dailies. He's seen all the footage and all that kind of stuff. And he's thrilled with it. I mean, he loves it. Now, of course, you would be sticking your head in the sand if you did not take that with at least a monochrome of salt of, studio head who's distributing the film says the film he's distributing is going to be great. Newsflash. Well, of course. But he said it with a lot of enthusiasm. And they are very excited about this Spider-Man movie. And, you know, listen, as much as I like Daniel, again, I love what he did with Shang-Chi. My big frustration with him right now is where the hell is Shang-Chi 2? And he did a way beyond expectations job with Wonder Man.
Blown away by Wonder Man.
You were actually saying you think it might be your favorite Disney Plus Marvel show.
It's between Loki now and Wonder Man. And man, when that ended, I was like, this might be my favorite Disney Plus series.
It was a terrific job they did with it. It was absolutely fantastic. But, you know, the thing is, I've loved the 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and they were all done by John Watts, who, of course, then went on to do a really, really good job with one of the few shining points for Star Wars in the last couple of years, with Skeleton Crew. He did a great job with Skeleton Crew. That show was terrific. So I've been a little bit concerned about what we may or may not get with Spider-Man Brand New Day, seeing as this will be the first Tom Holland Spider-Man film without John Watts in the director's chair. But Destin Daniel Craig he's really putting together a great track record, especially within Marvel. And now with the Sony executive, the guy who's not even responsible for making the movie, he's saying they're thrilled with it. So it gives me a little bit more excitement about it. I still think they kind of maybe should have played a Spider-Man trailer at the Super Bowl last night.
I was a little shocked when I went through the list, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, that Spider-Man was not even just released online.
Yeah, I mean, we talked last week about the fact that it did come out that they weren't going to do an Avengers Doomsday one, which is fine. That movie's still like 10 months away. Yeah. That's a long ways off. Yeah. But Spider-Man, I was a little bit shocked they didn't do that. I'm expecting they're probably going to do something pretty big in the next 3 or 4 weeks. But I got to say, my enthusiasm is starting to build up more and more for this one. So,
and even when we do, it's going to be the teaser trailer. So it's not going to be a story trailer. I don't think we're going to see too much story, but I think we're going to see a little, a rundown of the characters. That we're going to see probably Bruce Banner in there. We're probably going to see maybe a shot of Punisher, and
we're definitely going to see Sadie Sink.
But you're not going to get
coming off the finale of Stranger Things. But don't want to take advantage of that.
But don't expect story beats.
Yeah, not with the first one. Not with the first one. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Sony executives apparently are absolutely thrilled with the way Spider-Man Brand New Day has come together, praising Destin, for the job he's done stepping into the chair for John Watts. It's understandable if a lot of your attention's kind of been focused on Doomsday, obviously. But do you think your enthusiasm for this new Spider-Man movie could start building up? Do you have any hope for it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, of course, last night was, in fact, the Super Bowl. And like a lot of people, even though none of my main teams were in the Super Bowl last night, a lot of my attention was focused on the commercials, but most importantly, out of all the commercials, what movie spots were going to drop. Again, we found out and talked about early last week that there wasn't going to be a Spider-Man or an Avengers Doomsday spot, which was unfortunate, but again, understandable. But we heard there could be a lot of others. So, and we did get a bunch. So what were the 5 best ones that we got? Well, I'm going to give you my list of 5. I'm going to tell you 1 or 2 that are not on my list of 5. All right. One of the ones not on my list of 5 is the abomination that was known as the Mandalorian and Grogu spot. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
We'll get to that.
But Mandalorian and Grogu spot did not make my top 5. Another one that did not make my top 5. There was nothing wrong with it, but was the new Supergirl spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was more of the same to me, other than just showing Crypto a little more.
Puppy Crypto.
Yeah.
Which was adorbs.
Yeah.
I believe that's what the kiddies say.
Yeah, they say that.
Adorbs. Sure, fine, but it didn't move the needle for
Totes
anything.
adorbs.
So it's not on my list, right? Again, nothing wrong with it, but not on my list. Couple of great, just straight up commercials, though. That Dunkin' Donut commercial, just about killed. You know what else? You know what the other ones that
with the 90s
me?
sitcom characters?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. But the other one was the Claude AI commercials, mocking the fact that other AI models are going to start putting ads in.
Yeah.
Those commercials killed me. I thought they were absolutely hilarious. But anyway, we're here. We're going to talk about the movie spots. At number 5, a movie I wrote off as soon as they announced it and they showed us our first little look at it at CinemaCon. I didn't think it looked like much. But the stuff they've been showing recently have slowly been winning me over. It's the new Pixar film Hoppers. And I just think everything they're putting out for this, I think I was wrong to write this movie off so quickly at CinemaCon last year. This was legitimately charming, had me grinning and smiling. And so I'm going to say Hoppers is at my number 5. At my number 4, Mario Brothers. Again, this is one that I still think is going to be a big hit. I don't think it's going to be $1 billion film like the first one was. Maybe I'll be wrong. But, you know, when they had the baby Mario and the baby Luigi and all that kind of stuff, again, it put a smile on my face.
Yeah. It was, I mean, Yoshi's so cute.
Oh, and Yoshi's cute.
Yeah.
And I already saw the T-Rex spot where Yoshi roars and the T-Rex roars back. And all. It was just adorable. I liked it. So, you know what? Not high on my list, but good enough to be at my number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get into the top 3. The top 3 I thought were really good. And I struggled with where to put 2 and where to put 3. I actually, and if you ask me tomorrow, I might swap them again. But
I inverse 2 and 3 for me.
Yeah, you know what? If you ask me tomorrow, I might. Mm-hmm. But in my number 3 spot, just by a hair below the number 2 spot, I'm going to put The Adventures of Cliff Booth. I'm going to tell you straight up, I've had zero interest in this project. Zero interest in this project. Watching that trailer, teaser, feature, preview, whatever you want to call it, last night, I'm watching and I'm like, okay, this looks like it could be pretty good. This looks like it could be better than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of Quentin Tarantino's better films. Has its moments.
I enjoy it, but I agree, it's not his best.
Yeah, I'm with you. I enjoyed the film. It's a thumbs up from me movie, but it is nowhere near the top of the list of Quentin Tarantino's movies for me. I had some issues with it, but the Cliff Booth character was not one of them. He was great. And this looks like it captures the best parts of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So, yeah, Adventures of Cliff Booth. I thought the previews looked great. It's got me excited to watch it. At number 2, Disclosure Day is looking better and better to me. Now, look, you guys know I think Steven Spielberg is the best filmmaker of all time, but that does not automatically mean I get excited for his projects. I was famously very in the hater camp for him doing West Side Story before it came out.
It sure felt like you're just going to do a remake of a classic musical. I mean...
Yeah, today? Today. You're going to do a West Side Story today.
And he said yes, and it's going to be amazing.
And I poo-pooed on it for over a year before it came out. I'm like, listen, Steven, you're the greatest of all time, but what are you doing? Why are you no? What? And then I saw it, and I'm like, oh my God, I take it all back. West Side Story was so freaking good, man. I couldn't believe it. Like, and he once again proved he's the greatest filmmaker ever because he can do it all. He can even do musicals. And Disclosure Day is not one I've had a lot of excitement about.
I really was not wowed by that first trailer. I mean, I was like, okay, it's not...
I thought it was solid.
Yeah.
It was solid, but it didn't make me go, oh my God, Disclosure Day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even this new spot, again, just elevated it more. It elevated it more. And so I'm going to put Disclosure Day at my number 2 spot. For me, though, by far and away, the best trailer we got yesterday was what they are now calling the final Project Hail Mary trailer. I got emotional watching it. Now I have the advantage, like many other people out there, that I've read the book several times now. But I literally got... The one thing I don't love, and this is such a nitpick, I admit this is such a nitpick. The only thing I didn't love was the voice they landed on for Rocky.
I was a little bit like, that's the one you like the most?
Yeah.
That one? Where it's just kind of more robotic?
Yeah, but, I mean, maybe, you know what, though? Maybe that's because I'm attached to the voice they gave him in the book, in the audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to admit that. Like, hey, that could be why. That could be the reason why. But yeah, it didn't really stick, but whatever. It was just, it captured the scope of it. You did get a little bit of a glimpse of the real power of Project Hail Mary is not the race to save the earth. The real power of Project Hail Mary is this incredible relationship that forms between Grace and Rocky. It's the heart of the story, really. And everything in this movie depends on them nailing that chemistry and the dynamic between Grace and Rocky. Because if they do, this is an awards contending film. If they don't, this is going to be Walmart DVD discount bin $2.99 kind of a movie. It all depends on it. And this trailer made me feel like they're going to kill that chemist. They're going to nail it. And so for me, that's my number one. That was my number one. Now, some people may be wondering why I didn't even mention the Minions and Monsters. The reason I decided it was disqualified from this list is because whereas the other trailers showed you 30 seconds and then said, watch the full thing online, what they showed during the Super Bowl wasn't even a part of the trailer. It was really just an announcement to go watch the trailer online. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Maybe you can make an argument that that should still count. I'm not going to argue. It's close, but that's just the only reason I didn't include it. Although I am looking forward to this Minions movie too. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked, I appreciated that the Mario Brothers, I think there was actually 4 different spots. And I really liked that it wasn't just Super Bowl centric or whatever. Like they took into account the Winter Olympics, which are going on right now too, because you had that toboggan. Did you see that spot with the toboggan and Yoshi and the mushrooms are going down?
Yes. Yeah.
And then I think Princess Peach was ice skating as well. There was a 4th one. But yeah,
how many Olympic commercials did we see yesterday, by the way?
Yeah, a lot. I think they were like, hey, by the way, this international thing is still going on too. But I like those two.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What were the best trailers you think they presented last night during the Super Bowl? Is it the same order as mine? Totally different? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to go on now, start off this week right by playing ourselves a little game of Versus. The way Versus works is really easy. We just jump on the YouTube channel. We ask you guys to send in 2 combatants into the ring. Yep. It could be one actor pitting one of their performances against another one of their performances. Maybe one movie against another. Maybe something else entirely. You guys set up a head-to-head combat situation. We tell you which one we think would win. You guys sent in a bunch of them. Jonathan's got a few of them picked out that you guys sent in.
I do.
So, Jonathan, what we got up first?
All right, first up, John, we got the Antagonistic Anonymous. Man, that was a tongue twister. Man of Steel versus Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah. Why not just start off with one that's just going to get me in trouble?
With Cavill right over your shoulder there.
I got my boy Henry over here. Look. Everybody knows I think Batman Begins is really good. You don't get The Dark Knight without Batman Begins. There are even some people out there who think Batman Begins is better than The Dark Knight.
I don't know who those people are.
I don't know who those people are. I think you're a little bit crazy, but it's all subjective. And if that's how it hits you, that's how it hits you. But to me, Man of Steel is the better origin movie. I just think it's better character work. I think it's better dialogue. I think the emotional hooks are better. And again, I say this as a fan of Batman Begins. I'm not dissing or putting down Batman Begins. I really like Batman Begins quite a lot. And I'm not saying that Man of Steel is better than The Dark Knight. Let's be clear about that. You are asking Batman Begins, Man of Steel, better origin one. For me, my money goes, it's a movie that literally gets better every time I watch it, is Man of Steel. And whereas when I watch Batman Begins, some of its imperfections stand out a little bit more and more to me, even though I still absolutely really enjoy that movie. But I'm going to go Man of Steel on this one. So in this Versus heads up, Man of Steel.
There you go. I think I would have, I think I agree with you. I think had they both only ever been given one movie each, I probably would have said Batman Begins. But because of the fact that I've seen The Dark Knight, so I know what it's capable of.
Right.
I actually edge towards Man of Steel as well. We got next up here, David Sickles, bigger box office, Disclosure Day or Project Hail Mary?
You know, this one isn't even all that difficult. I think it's going to be Project Hail Mary.
Spielberg.
even though I'm not convinced Project Hail Mary is going to be like a $700 million film. I'm not. But Disclosure Day, while it might be the best film of the year, who knows? It is being made by Steven Spielberg. I don't think it's going to have wide 4-quadrant market appeal. It's an original film. It looks a little Signs-ish. Remember that movie,
Yeah.
Signs?
Love it.
It's got a little bit of that feel to it. It's just simply not going to be for everybody. Whereas Project Hail Mary has the advantage that it's, not everybody in the world has read the book, but a lot of people have. So, and then you got the Lord and Miller aspect of it. It just looks more like a bigger blockbuster kind of film. I'm not saying Project Hail Mary will necessarily be the better film of the two, but you're asking specifically bigger box office. I think it's pretty clear the bigger box office is going to be Project Hail Mary.
There you go. I wonder, though, if there's going to be a variance in opening day versus the total box office.
That's a really good question, too, to keep an eye
on. Next up, we've got Alexander Beatty, Daniel Day-Lewis. We can only ever pit Daniel Day-Lewis against himself.
Because you can't pit him against anybody else because it's just automatically Daniel Day-Lewis.
All right. Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood versus in Lincoln.
Listen, both of them, he won the Academy Award for Best Lead Actor in a Major Motion Picture. So they're both Oscar-winning performances. They're both absolutely incredible. But you guys who have watched me for any period of time, you know that I believe that the single greatest performance ever given in a motion picture was Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. I just think it is the single best performance we've ever seen on a movie screen. And to this day, nothing has changed that. So as great as he was in Lincoln, good enough to win the Academy Award for Best Lead Actor.
Yeah.
I got to go with his performance in There Will Be Blood because I just believe it beats everything. I think you put Daniel Day-Lewis's performance in There Will Be Blood against any performance in all of history. I think it's There Will Be Blood. Not that it's the best movie of all time, but his performance in that, I believe, is the standard now. And I'll just wait till somebody can come along and beat it, but I think it's going to be a while.
We got next, Andre Dennett, who says, Best Christian Bale performance, The Fighter versus American Psycho.
Oh,
boy.
Okay, listen, American Psycho. He was, obviously Newsies and whatever. Christian Bale was around before American Psycho. But American Psycho is the movie that put him on the map. Like, that's the movie that got him Batman. And Batman is what made him a household name.
Yeah.
He's incredible. Like, especially when he's talking about Huey Lewis in the news.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
Dude, did you see? If you haven't, I'm going to send it to you. But Weird Al Yankovic, him and I cannot remember who and Huey Lewis do that scene.
I've never seen it.
And they act out the scene. It's flawless. It's great. I'll send it to you.
Oh my God. He's just so good in it. But I got to go with his performance in Fighter. Listen, American Psycho is the more hot name. That's the more recognizable name. But listen, man, he won an Academy Award for The Fighter for a reason. Now, the one knock against it is that he was absolutely not a supporting actor in that movie. He had every bit amount of screen time and dialogue and importance to the movie as Mark Wahlberg's character did. It's him on the poster. He was lead actor. They simply put him in best supporting actor because they didn't want him to run against from King's Speech. Colin Firth.
Firth, yeah.
They knew Colin Firth had that Academy Award wrapped up. So they didn't want him to run against Colin Firth. So they just, again, this is where the Academy has to change their rules because they just put him in supporting actor, which took away an Academy Award from somebody else who deserved it, who actually was a supporting actor. Be that as it may, he won an Academy Award for that for a good reason. He was absolutely phenomenal in that. And so I'm going to go with his performance in The Fighter.
All right. I think this is our last of the verses where Hear from the real Brother Brown. Logan versus Deadpool and Wolverine.
Look, man, I unabashedly, passionately love both of these movies for very different reasons. I love them both. Deadpool and Wolverine was such a triumph. And maybe the only reason Marvel's still in the game, because before Deadpool and Wolverine came out, man, they had been struggling.
Mm-hmm.
They'd been struggling a bit, and their box office returns were becoming questionable, and people were wondering if Marvel could still do it and all that kind of stuff. So along comes Ryan Reynolds. He gets Hugh Jackman in there with him, and they deliver an outrageously crowd-pleasing, immensely entertaining $1.3 billion highest grossing R-rated film in the history of cinema to a complete victory. It's amazing. Deadpool and Wolverine is just one of the best times I've had watching a film in the last couple of years. It's amazing. But Logan, I believe, is a top 3 greatest comic book film of all time. I still believe to this day that the original, pardon me, guys, that the original Avengers film that Joss Whedon directed, I still believe that's the gold standard of comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 2 films in the top 3 are The Dark Knight and Logan. That's just how good I think Logan is. It's a legit, not just a great comic book movie, but I think one of the great American movies. It's just it's a Western at its real heart. It's not a comic book film. It's a Western. And it's just remarkably good. So as great as Deadpool and Wolverine is, and it is great, I think you got to go with Logan on that.
There you go.
All right, guys. That will wrap up today's little session of Versus. Thank you to everybody who sent in your scenarios for us. Keep your eyes open for the next time we put out a call for submissions, and maybe you'll see your head-to-head matchup featured in our next round of Versus. All right, guys. Listen, before we go any further, we're just going to take a second here and thank a sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Mando. We want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Mando. Hey guys, I may be married now, but I remember the whole checklist we'd all go through before a first date, right? Fresh haircut, clean car, maybe you're replaying a conversation in your head like, don't screw this up. But the one thing that is absolutely non-negotiable, deodorant. And that's why for a while now, I've been using Mando. What I love most is how confident it makes me feel knowing odor is just handled, like not masked, handled. Mando is a whole body deodorant, so you can use it anywhere. Pits, feet, thighs, wherever you need it. And yeah, that peace of mind is real. My personal favorite is the solid stick. It's super easy to use, goes on clean, and it just works all day. It's created by a doctor, and it's clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours, which is wild. Some guys try to cover odor with scent. Mando men get the job done right. Don't mask it, Mando it. You can find Mando at major retailers, but for the best deal, head to shopmando.com. For limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide plus free shipping when you use my code Campea at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com, code Campea. Support the show and check them out. Mando's got you covered. And thank you to our friends at Mando for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this. Mandalorian and Grogu dropped a spot at the Super Bowl last night. And it was an unbelievable display of incompetence and ineptitude by the folks over at Disney and Lucasfilm, and they should all be ashamed, and somebody should get fired for it. John, that feels like a little bit of an overreaction. But it's not. And I want you to follow along with me here. You know, the other week, we were talking about the fact that news had come out that Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day were not going to have trailers play at the Super Bowl. And one of my responses to that was, well, you know what? I kind of get it, because when you look at what really needs the push right now, because Avengers Doomsday is still 10 months away. All right. They really shouldn't be doing all that much marketing for it right now, as it is anyway. They really shouldn't. It's 10 months away, nearly a year away. And Super Bowl 30-second ad spots this year were running between $8 and $10 million for a 30-second spot. You got to understand, for some movies, that could represent their entire marketing budget.
It's massive.
Now, not for a movie like Spider-Man, but still, you're talking $8 to $10 million for a 30-second spot. And we said, you know what? That's kind of okay. That's understandable, because Disney probably has a number of other films they really should be taking advantage of the Super Bowl that really do need the awareness and really needs the hype build to get people excited. And one of those films that we mentioned that would probably get a Super Bowl spot, because it really does need the push right now, was Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, to set the background for this, you know, I'm not particularly excited for Mandalorian and Grogu. I can't believe those words would ever come out of my mouth talking about an upcoming Star Wars movie. But, you know, as much as I love Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, season 3 was a pretty big disappointment. And the fact that they've made their first movie coming to theaters in 7 years, just an extension of a Disney Plus TV show, seems utterly underwhelming. And the first trailer they put out a while ago was okay. I don't think the trailer they put out a while ago was bad. I think it was okay. But, you know, we talked about the fact that, yeah, they really should be putting their attention on something like Mandalorian and Grogu for the Super Bowl, because, my God, this movie needs the hype. It needs the buzz. It needs a kick-ass, high-profile spot to really get the enthusiasm and the engines revving for people to get excited for this movie. They really need it. And what did they do?
What did they do?
Did they give us some heart-pounding space action in a somehow the Razor Crest has returned moment, shooting through some asteroids or something? No. Well, did they show the Mandalorian Din in some kind of city street cleared out with all the citizens as he and another warrior about to have some kind of draw Western style with the tension of high noon hitting? No, I can't do that. Did they perhaps show us little baby Yoda bouncing around like Master Yoda with a lightsaber now in his hand? No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. I know in the last trailer, they kind of gave us a hint that Spooky Skeepy Boopy the Hutt, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, Stinky the Hutt.
Stinky the Hutt is a UFC pit fighter of some kind.
Nice.
Are we going to see him like beating the hell out of something, like lifting some kind of, maybe a small rancor over his head and breaking it over his tail, like Bane breaking Batman over his knee? No. You know what the geniuses over at Disney decided to do? They said, hey, you know what was really great? One of the great all-time memorable Super Bowl commercials? The Clydesdale. Remember with the horses, clippity-cloppity?
Definitely felt Budweiser.
We got to bring people their beer, clippity-cloppity.
Yeah.
What? Let's do a little jokey joke, but it's tauntauns. Yeah, we're going to have the tauntauns.
And Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Dude, how's great is Sam Elliott's voice, by the way?
I'm sure he was happy to get that voiceover work. It's just a little easy, like in and out. He probably was paid well.
He's great.
I love Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott's the freaking man.
He is.
Let's just lay that down right now. Yeah. Sam Elliott's the man.
And if anyone ever gets a good full podcasty interview with that guy and his stories, awesome.
So good. Anyway, let's just do a spoof of this commercial that half the people watching weren't yet fucking born when it originally aired. Let's do that.
This also gave like a Christmas, like, it wasn't just Super Bowl Clydesdale. To me,
I
it also
expected
gave
Santa to fly overhead.
I swear I heard sleigh bells. Maybe my brain just filled in sleigh bells as I watched it.
Look. Here's the thing. If we weren't talking about a movie that already has a lot of question marks around it, and if we weren't talking about a movie that is already struggling to really get a footing in building hype and excitement for it, and people are just kind of looking, quite frankly, I think people are already looking past it and looking forward to Starfighter.
Mm-hmm. I am.
I know that. I agree. That's where my attention is totally looking past Mandalorian and Grogu right now. And last night, at the biggest stage of them all, at the Super Bowl, they had an opportunity to drop $10 million and give us a Mandalorian and Grogu spot, because the only thing we've gotten is months old now, and ain't nobody talking about this movie, and they had a gonna be golden. We had a golden opportunity. You know how many times I heard that song last night for the Olympic commercials? Golden opportunity. This is your chance. If you only had one shot and one opportunity. Breaking my M&M here.
Yeah, it's a little M&M. I like it.
Palms are sweaty. Vomit on my sweater already. Mom spaghetti. To drop bombs when he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The crowd goes so loud. You had a chance to do that. With Grogu and Mandalorian, you had that chance. And what do they do? A fucking horse joke.
Yep.
Clippity cloppity. Like, see, here's the problem. And I'm not saying, you know what? Here's the other thing. If they had done that and then later dropped an actual trailer, like maybe in the second half.
Yeah. Or
that would be great. It's like they did that. They got the best of both worlds. They did a cute little fun thing.
Yeah.
But then dropped a real thing too.
Or did this and said, online Mandalorian Grogu trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If they had both,
yeah,
I would have been fine with that too. Or if you had led off with the trailer and then in the second half reminded everybody about the trailer by doing a fun little spoof of an old thing, that would all be fine too. But it really makes me concerned about how out of touch the people at Disney are, that they don't understand that you're dropping $10 million right now anyway.
Right.
Make something that's actually going to get people excited for this movie, something they are not yet. They're acting as if the world can't wait for Mandalorian and Grogu.
That's just it.
And they're in for a damn unpleasant surprise.
Yeah, that's just it. I think they figure the kiddies are going to want to come out and see this. So, look, Zootopia 2 is almost a $2 billion film. Make a cute little thing. They'll all come.
Now, by the way, I've already seen some people going, well, not a good look on Dave Filoni for his first act. Dave Filoni has nothing to do with the marketing. Remember, there are two different and equally important companies when it comes to putting out a movie. There's the production company, the people that make the movie. That's Lucasfilm. But then there's the distributor. Lucasfilm is not the distributor. Disney is the distributor. And as the distributor, they make all the decisions about marketing. So I'm not pinning this on Dave Filoni at all. I'm not. So I want to be very clear about this. I'm not pinning this on Dave Filoni. This is on the tone-deaf execs in the ivory towers over at Disney who don't seem to be aware. Again, what was the point of dropping $10 million just to do clippity-cloppity?
I don't even understand, because, I mean, it's like, this is not anything that's in the movie. It's clearly just a bit. And it's just like, what is this selling? I mean, I just don't get it. I mean,
yeah, exactly. What are you selling?
Merchandise? Not the movie.
I'm your audience. Ask me if that little thing moved the needle for me at all to get me more excited to watch Mandalorian and Grogu.
I actually moved the needle back for me.
It might have actually moved it backwards.
Yeah, it actually kind of went like that.
This was the Super Bowl. Do nothing. Don't do anything with it and wait till the week later and then put out something big. But I just thought they really exhibited a disconnect between them and the actual place where their movie is right now. Now, listen. I'm not saying, let me be clear here. I'm not saying they don't have time to turn this around. They absolutely do. I'm not saying that this one phenomenal mistake, and it was a boneheaded mistake, but I'm not saying this one boneheaded, phenomenal brain fart of a mistake kills Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying that this movie can't still end up being great. Hell, man, pardon me. I'll always give Dave Filoni the benefit of the doubt. But you had an opportunity to score points right here. You had the opportunity to score big points. And to further the sports analogy, now instead of playing with the lead, you're going to have to play from behind. And that's what they're going to be doing now, between now and that movie releases. Now they're going to have to play catch up. And they just had such a great opportunity. And man, I just thought they squandered it.
Yeah.
I thought they squandered it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think about the clippity cloppity? Did you like that Mandalorian and Grogu? Again, in the presence of an actual trailer, this is an additional thing. Would have been pretty cute. But you think this is all you need to promote this film right now? I have to question the competence of the people over at Disney right now. I'm just being straight up honest with you. And I'm freaking somebody who cheers for the success of Disney Star Wars. And I'm telling you, I'm questioning their competence right now. Anyway, whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that all down, we're now going to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your comments and questions. Now, we did turn off the super chats a while ago because you guys have filled them up already, but a whole bunch of them came in. So, Jonathan, what we got up first?
Okay, first up, Jay Valen says, "Hey, John, the Project Hail Mary trailer had me in tears. This book was my lifeline during cancer treatment this summer, chemo and radiation. Seeing it in theaters is going to rock me to my emotional core. Can't wait." You
know, that's one of the most beautiful and powerful things about movies is that they also become anchor points for us emotionally to pivotal parts of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I often talk about the original Tim Burton Batman film. It's like one of the first times me and my best friend as kids, we took the bus downtown to go watch it. And now my friend passed away a few years ago. I always have that movie that remind me of him and all that kind of stuff. And that's part of the things they do. And I'm so glad this movie can be that for you. And I cannot wait to see it, dude. All right, what's next?
Okay, so Gavin Cagle says, "Seahawks, John, I turned 26 today and I'm getting to marry an amazing woman later this year.
Oh, nice.
What advice would you give your 26-year-old self?" Invest in Netflix.
Invest in when Google was going into IPO.
Yeah.
Man, I still remember this. I went and talked to my dad one night as a stupid young guy. And I understand why my dad didn't listen to me. I really do, because I went to my dad with several ideas that were really dumb. But I remember when they announced Google was going to go public with an IPO, I remember going to my dad and trying, Dad, put everything you have right now into this new Google stock.
If only.
Now, of course, a lot of other pieces of advice I give my dad, if he had taken them, he'd probably be ruined. But I mean, I'll always remember that one. I mean, if you're just talking about life and not just talking about marriage, like what advice would I give my 26-year-old self? Honestly, it would be this. Always know that right now you know nothing. That's what I would tell my 26-year-old self. Know how much you don't know. Because at every age, we think we figured it out. I remember at 16 thinking I had it all figured out. And at 18 thinking I had it all figured out. And at 26 thinking I had it all figured out. Only to, like, a year or two later, realize how little I knew. And I kind of decided to adopt a mentality of know what you know. That's important. but know what you don't know too. And always, if you carry that attitude with you into the various aspects of your life, I think you're going to find it's going to serve you well. Anyway, that's just what I would tell my 26-year-old self if I could. All right, what's next?
AS says, so a lot of people didn't get that Mando trailer was an homage to Budweiser Clydesdales. I believe Sam Elliott had done Budweiser commercials in the past.
Oh, no, we got it.
A different generation would have got it.
Yeah. Sure, yes, a lot of people didn't get it, but that's not their fault because a lot of it was, that stuff was before a lot of them were born. But just because that's what you were going for doesn't mean it's what you should be going for.
Gave a little bit of a Big Lebowski feel, too, because of Sam Elliott narrating.
All right, what's next?
Victor, not sure if you guys have answered this already, but if Dune 3 doesn't get pushed back, which one are you watching first, Dune 3 or Doomsday?
The honest answer... So we're talking about December 17th, because the official release date is December 18th. That means they really come out the day before. The honest answer is whatever has the earlier screen time.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
If one of them has a 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon screening time and one of them has a 2 p.m. screening time, I'm going to go to the 2 p.m. one first.
Yeah.
Whichever
so
movie
so
it
you
is.
are doing Doomsday. You're doing that
Oh
the
my
same
God,
day.
yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I ain't waiting till the next day to watch either one of those. I'm watching both of those day one, man.
All right.
Day one. All right, what's next?
All right. H. Martinez, yes. Hey, John, as a Hispanic immigrant, that halftime hit me hard. It was beautiful. Lady Gaga's dancing salsa was not my 26 bingo card. Thoughts on it?
No, it wasn't on mine either.
I was, yeah. I was, she did surprisingly very well.
You know, I'm not surprised by her anymore. I remember I stopped being surprised by Lady Gaga because I thought she was just a fluff pop star of the month. Mm-hmm. I admit it, I did. And then we've talked about this before, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Then the Oscars came around one year, and it's not A Star Is Born one.
No,
it's when they said, now doing a tribute to the Sound of Music, Lady Gaga, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, I went, oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, I was like, oh no. Oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
They're going to expose her here. And she came out and she sang, I mean, she did Julie Andrews, man. She came out and she belted. Sound of Music is not a song you can karaoke. You got to be able to belt to do that song. And she came out and she belted. And at that moment, I'm like, I will never doubt Lady Gaga again. Ever. And that has served me well. I was surprised that she actually ended up doing the Bruno Mars song.
Oh, yeah.
From Joker 2 instead of one of her other things. But anyway, again, I'm with you, man. As somebody, like I said, and I don't mean to ruffle feathers. I honestly don't. I'm just being honest with you. As a Canadian, it was the first time in a long time that I felt proud to live here and to be amongst our American neighbors. It was really a proud moment. I thought it was a great celebration of America. It was a great celebration of truly what it is to be American, which is all the diversity and its great tapestry. It was just a very moving, powerful, wonderful thing. And I thought it was great. All right, what's next?
We got Luis Hernandez who says, I notice as I age, I'm more critical of movies. It makes me feel like a bitter old man, or maybe I'm just more in tune with what I like and dislike. Anyways, I'm a huge fan of the show.
I was going to say exactly what you just said at the end there. I just think the older we get, we become more and more aware of what exactly does and does not work for us.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, things will work for you or not work for you as it is. I don't think that makes you bitter or overly optimistic or whatever it is. I think that's just you becoming more and more finely in tune about what truly, it's like, I believe the same thing will work for your food palate as well. I believe the older we get really more in tune with the things we enjoy eating and the things that we don't a little bit more. It doesn't mean we can't be adventurous and try new things, but yeah, I think that's just it. I think you nailed it.
We got Draven who says, just listen to Project Hail Mary audiobook. After that last trailer, I'm even more excited for the movie. Good, good, good.
Happy. If you don't know the book, you will. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, I'm so with it. And listen, to the continuous ongoing chatter here about, man, the trailers give so much of away. They show that he met the alien. Guys, you don't get it. He meets Rocky very, very early. Him meeting Rocky is not the twist. Believe me, there are twists and turns in this story, and ain't none of them have been given away in the marketing so far. None of them. So just hold on to your hats. Here it comes. It's going to be a great ride. All right, what's next?
What the curtains? Hi, John. Do you think after Steve went back to be with Peggy, he could have stopped himself from interfering in the timeline? For example, could he have really let Bucky become the Winter Soldier? To which I say yes, because he was specifically told, if you mess with anything, you're screwing
Yeah, and if there's any character in all of the MCU that you would question their discipline, I think Captain America's Steve Rogers is the last guy you question that with. Yeah. Resolve and discipline, that's Steve Rogers. So yeah, I do think we're going to find that out. And you're going to find out in Doomsday. Nope, going to stop myself there. All right, let's continue. What's next?
But you guys are going to find out in Doomsday.
Yep, there's something you're going to find out in Doomsday. Anyway.
Christopher Brickner says, I like the Mandalorian Super Bowl promo. The problem is the movie's 3 months out and we've only gotten the one trailer. They should have dropped the second trailer. Yes.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. Had they taken advantage of it and played a legitimate, heart-pounding, thrill-inducing Mandalorian trailer, and then later did a callback to it by doing a little homage to an old Super Bowl classic, that all would have been fine and good. In the absence of a real trailer, though, it was just a wasted opportunity. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Zombotron. While I was disappointed in the trailer, you know who isn't? My mom, who hates Star Wars, saw Baby Yoda, made her decide to see the movie. Well, that scene ain't in the movie, but I get it.
That ain't in the movie.
That's their point. They're like, oh, the kids and the parents or whatever, they're gonna think it's cute and they're gonna want to go see it. That's fine, but that's not enough to drive it.
No, it didn't move the needle. And if that's the case, then all you have to do is show your mom a poster of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just $10 million for a 30-second spot.
Yeah.
$8 to $10 million for a 30-second spot. And that's what you put out?
They could have saved a lot of money and put this out next week.
Yeah, they just really dropped the ball. Again, I ain't saying they can't recover. I'm not saying this kills the movie. I'm not saying this means the movie isn't going to be good. I am not saying any of those things. I'm just saying you had a great opportunity here and they muffed it, man. They totally muffed it. All right, what's next?
Brendan says, I saw somewhere that the reason they don't address Doom's face being Tony's is that none of them see him without the mask on. Any validity to that claim, it makes so much sense. I
obviously cannot address that.
It could make a lot of sense, but we can't. Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously I can't address that.
Hard to say.
All right,
you'll find out when you see the movie. Armand Rivera. Hey guys, love the show. Wanted to ask if John watched the animated series Wolverine and the X-Men. They do a great job explaining Magneto's origin.
Whenever you have to go, have you seen this obscure animated thing that 99% of the world has never watched and isn't really connected to the actual origins of the character and who and what he is? Then you're in trouble when you got to do that. So anyway, no, I haven't watched it and you shouldn't have to.
Apollo. No one's talking about Incredibles 3, a $1 billion movie.
Yeah, but does it come out in 2026 or does it come out in 2027?
I feel like that is...
If it's a 2026 film, you're right. We've been totally overlooking it this whole time.
Yeah, I got to look it up. Let's see.
Yeah, pull that up. Maybe use something there. Yes. I mean, I remember I lost my marbles, but I believe it's a 2027 film.
I don't even see it coming up on Box Office Mojo.
Well, that's not the place to look. Hold a second. Give me a second here. When does Incredibles 3 come out? Okay, so I've got here that Incredibles 3... Oh, it's planned to come out in 2028.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's why.
So, yeah, normally when we're talking about the billion-dollar films, we're talking about things coming out in 2026. We haven't really gotten into a lot of discussions about 2027. But anyway, yes, Incredibles 3 absolutely is a film that has the potential to be a billion-dollar film, 100%. But that movie is still a long ways off.
That's like 2 Dodgers World Series wins away.
That's optimistic.
Yeah, they're going to go four back to back. Brendan says, also, Ian McKellen talking about Russo Brothers directing is hilarious. Can't wait to see him F up some of Sentinels. Total fan fulfillment there. I'm looking forward to his performance. Hands down.
Did you see Ian McKellen on Colbert?
No?
He did this thing where he does this big Shakespearean thing. They're talking about political stuff with ICE and trying to, get rid of foreigners and whatever. And he broke into this Shakespearean monologue that will shake you. Go look it up. Watch it on YouTube. It is one of the most bonkers, powerful performing. Like, you forget Ian McKellen's not just the man. Like, he is truly Shakespearean royalty. And he does this Shakespearean monologue that'll just shake you. It's absolutely unbelievable. Go check it out if you get a chance. All right, what's next?
Armand with a $50 super chat.
Oh my God, thank you, Armand. Thank you for supporting us on that level, man.
Says, keeping the World War II background, but in modern day, he's talking about Magneto. His mutant genes react to the super soldier serum, de-aging him. They also do a great job tying into humanity's hatred for mutants. Do you think they could incorporate that into the MCU?
They can do anything. They can say he's part alien. They can say he's part fish monster. They can say he's a part iguana. They could say he's part vampire. So he does. I mean, they can do anything. The question isn't about, to quote Professor Malcolm from Jurassic Park, it shouldn't just be about the shoulda. It should be about the coulda. Or shouldn't be about the coulda. It should be about the shoulda. Should they do that? And the answer is no. You don't change the character just so you don't have to do something that's a little bit uncomfortable to you. The reality is, if you're going to do Magneto today, he can't come from the beginnings of World War II because that just de-ages him out. So what you do is you take what is absolutely vital to the character, which is his exposure to the horrors of humanity early in his childhood, and that shapes him into becoming the man that he is. You don't give him new powers and say, oh, now he had the super soldier serum. You don't do all that nonsense. So could you? Sure. But you could also say he got bit by Blade at one point and now he ages different. You could do that too, but that's not a part of his character. Him having the super soldier serum is not part of his character. I'm getting really tired of seeing people. You got to understand, Magneto's my all-time favorite character, so I feel a little bit protective of him. But the people trying to do these mental gymnastics about trying to find a way to change his character, change fundamentals of his character, just so you could keep a historical aspect about him. No, it makes far more sense and stays far more true to the character if you just put him in a different human tragedy. That just stays far more true to his character that way than trying to do all these mental gymnastics.
Right. And it's inevitable because if they do another like a Magneto-centric movie 50 years from now, you're still going to be World War II? It wouldn't make sense.
A great example is somebody not getting it. So Ricky Bobby won in the live chat. So you can change his Holocaust background, but can't give him a slowed aging process. Yes, because time necessitates changing that part about him.
Yeah. Again, what if we did this 80 years from now?
You are confusing data with plot. Data is not plot. Plot is that young Eric experienced the horrors at the hands of humanity, seeing humanity at their worst, and that formed and shaped the man he would become as the mutant Magneto. That's plot. That's the important thing. A data point is which human thing did he see? Now, in a world where all other things are equal, just stay with what we've got. But time does not, the date of our calendar does not allow us to do that. So are you going to be faithful to data or are you going to be faithful to plot? Plot every time. You can keep the plot by simply moving which event it was. You don't change the essence of the character by giving him a different set of powers that have never been a part of his character. Plot every time. Character every time over this other nonsense. 100%. I stand by that. As a guy who Magneto's been my favorite character for maybe longer than you've been alive, I stand by that 100%. You'll never win that argument. All right, what's next?
Murray Reich. I'm not sure which was more pure humiliation, Patriots performance or Mando's Super Bowl trailer.
You know, here's the thing. In the Patriots' defense, they were simply playing a much better team. I mean, that's I told you guys going into the Super Bowl, I said it's not even going to be close. I said the Seattle is going to win this game and not just win it close. They're going to win it very, very handily. They were simply the much better team. That's why I said the Seahawks-Rams game was the real Super Bowl, because either of those teams were going to wipe the floor with either the Broncos or the Patriots. And so I think the Patriots can hold it. Listen, remember, the Patriots were a team that won 4 games last year. 4 games. And this year they went to the Super Bowl. That is nothing to hang their head over. Nothing to hang they simply entered into a Super Bowl with a team that was better in every way. Mm-hmm. Listen, if I can get into the ring with Mike Tyson and I can last 30 seconds, I'm not going to come out embarrassed that I only last 30 seconds. I'm going to come out bragging that I lasted 30 seconds against a clearly superior fighter, right? So I'm going to say the more embarrassing performance was Mandalorian. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Zach Pasta Sauce Walter says, I saw early access of GOAT, that's that animated movie, Saturday, and definitely thought it was an okay movie. I wouldn't really recommend you go see it, but I would for Ray or Jonathan's Kids. Great visuals and songs. My problem with animated movies that are very highly, they're just very in the moment, very contemporary, is that within 10 years, they're going to feel really dated if they're using slang that is of right now, hairstyles that of right now.
Sure, but let me push back on you about that. But why worry about how this movie's going to play 10 years from now? Well, instead of just worrying about how does this movie hit me and play right now? Right? So, listen, I'm not going to lie to you though. I don't have a lot of interest in seeing GOAT. I don't actually think it looks that good, but I've been hearing some pretty solid things about it. I've been hearing it's actually okay. But again, I haven't seen it myself, and I'm probably not going to go see it myself, to be honest with you.
Wayne says, thoughts on Night of the Seven Kingdoms episode 4, best one yet?
I don't know if it was the best one yet, but it was another great one. Man, I'm really loving this show, Jonathan.
Me too.
I that speech he gives, is there no honor left in the great houses of Westeros? And that whole thing, are there no true knights among you?
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, my wife saw it coming, but when that dude came out, I'm not gonna, for those of you who didn't see it, but when that one dude comes riding out at the end, I was like, I didn't see that coming. And other people did, and normally I do pick up on that stuff, but I'm like, I didn't see that coming. That really got me. So it was. Again, I'm loving this show. I think it's great. I don't think it's as good as Game of Thrones. I don't think it's as good as House of the Dragon, but it's a very different kind of show, and I'm loving it. Yep. I really am.
And it's picking up steam.
All right, what's next? Only 2 episodes left, right?
No, I think it's 8 episodes, isn't it?
Is it? I thought it was 6.
Sheesh.
Help us in the live chat, guys. I thought it was 6 episodes, but maybe it's 8. I hope it's 8. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Boonley Tan says, did you give Shrinking positive energy for the game? Or did you give Shrinking?
Oh, I get it. Because in Shrinking, they're going, give her positive energy.
Right.
I didn't even think about that. That very nice callback. I had to think about that one for a second. All right, what's next?
We got AL who says, Toy Story 5, Levi's ad only showed Woody's ass.
Yeah, I don't know that I even call that a Toy Story 5 ad, to be honest. That's kind of, you know, I kind of didn't really count the Minions one. I didn't really count the Toy Story one either. All right, what's next?
We got Animesh with a 3-parter. Says, John, you've previously stated that the MCU lost its momentum post-Endgame and failed to properly nurture new directors. With creatives like Cretton, Shackman, Benson, and Moorhead now leading major projects, has that assessment changed for you? Also, given the recent slate, Deadpool 3, Agatha, Spider-Man animated, Born Again, Thunderbolts, Ironheart. Well, Ironheart didn't move the needle. F4, Eyes of Wakanda, and Marvel Zombies. and Wonder Man, of course, all being at least good and fun.
No,
I don't know if they were all.
No. They were not all at least good. Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
Because you can't put Ironheart in that call.
I don't think you can. Anyway.
Let's see. Upcoming projects like Born Again Season 2 and Spider-Man 4. Do you think Marvel is regaining enough momentum to support Doomsday and Secret Wars?
Well, first of all, I've never said that I don't think they did enough to foster directing talent. Like, I've never said that. What I did say was that, and they did face several big challenges coming out of Endgame, they never really did anything to establish the new characters. Like, everything that was coming out was throwing 5 or 6 new characters at us. A great example of this is Shang-Chi, right? We got Shang-Chi, but then they never did anything to establish him. Like, they introduced us to him. They gave him that first movie, great first movie. And then that was it. We never saw him again. And then we got another new character, all this new characters. And they never really established an identity. Like, right from the beginning, the MCU in phase 1 really did all the hard work of really grounding its identity. Really, with the stake going in the ground with the Avengers. The first Avengers movie truly identified this is what a Marvel film is. And coming out of Endgame, trying to move on, they just never did a good job of reestablishing that. Now, granted, they faced a real challenge. They lost the heart and the soul of the MCU with Tony and Steve, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. And they never really did anything to establish who are our new core. Because without your core, you don't have an identity. And, some people suggest that maybe their plan was to kind of make T'Challa part of that new core. And obviously we tragically lost Chadwick Boseman. And so that kind of maybe threw their plans in disarray. Maybe that's true. Maybe that isn't true. So it wasn't about developing the directors. That wasn't it at all. It was about developing the characters and developing the core and the identity. And instead, the Marvel Cinematic Universe since Endgame has felt rather aimless. Not to say they haven't had some great stuff. They have had some great stuff. But overall, it's felt kind of aimless, without identity, without a heart and a soul, and so all that kind of stuff. Now, I think a number of things you put up on that list I don't think were very good. That being said, do I feel the momentum shifting back in the right direction? I kind of do. Again, they've had 2 entertaining movies in a row. I mean, I wish we could say 3, but Captain America 4 wasn't very good. As much as I love Anthony Mackie and all that kind of stuff, they just didn't do a very good job. They didn't give him a very good movie. But Thunderbolts was great. And Fantastic Four was quite good, I thought. Mm-hmm. So if they can now capitalize on that with Spider-Man, hopefully Daredevil Season 2 will be an improvement on Season 1. I like Season 1, by the way. I just hopefully Season 2 is an improvement. If they can build some real momentum heading into Doomsday, we got game on again, everybody. We're game on. But they need to keep that momentum going. It does feel like they're finally starting to get that momentum back. We'll see if they're able to carry it through, though.
There we go. We got 2 more, but we also have some support here from Dean Talks Movies.
Thank you, Dean Talks Movies.
And then we have Armand, who has a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Armand, for supporting us to that level, man.
Halftime show touched my heart. As a half Puerto Rican, African American, my late father would always say Puerto Ricans were the rainbow people of all colors, and that rang out in my head during the performance.
I'll tell you what, again, I found the whole thing moving, but it was right near the end of it when they had that parade of people all carrying the America's flags with the U.S. flag right at the front. And I just felt very moved by that. I thought, yeah, man, this gets it. This is America and what it represents and what its promises and what makes it wonderful. And again, it was just, as a non-American, it made me feel very proud to be here.
Okay,
all right, what's next?
Got our last one, Lost Anchor Films. If you ever decide to try the Cosmere again, I recommend going with Mistborn. It's an entry point for the universe, metal magic system, and fantasy heist.
You know what? I'm not going to try the Cosmere again. I tried to get into it with the Stormlight Archives, with the Something of Kings, whatever the
Right.
first one was, and like immediately like this just seems really all over the place. So I am going to patiently wait now until we get our on-screen adaptations. We got the Mistborn, what did I call them? The Moistborn.
Moistborn.
We got the Mistborn movies coming. Excited. We got the Stormlight Archive series coming to HBO. Exciting. So I'm going to wait for those adaptations. And then those, I'll let those be my first real experience with those stories. I'm looking forward to it. And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow. We look forward to seeing you then. So, for our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys soon.
My name is John Campea. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you have an awesome day, guys. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.